Hi, Corey Swan, Service Manager at the Mark Costello Company. We'd like to take some time today to show you about our new Mark Costello microprocessing controller. This controller works very well with both vacuum and gravity units, and we'd like to take the time to show you some of the features it has today. Communications in this controller has greatly improved. This controller now has a module strictly for communications, and what we've done is you can use either an Ethernet cord, which can be plugged directly in to the internet on the controller, and then to a wall plug in your office or dock, wherever you may have the sterilizer located. Or if it's in an outside facility, you can also buy your standard wireless router, plug into it, power it up. Now the beauty of this system is, once it's online, it communicates to us. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is call us up and let us know that you have plugged in your communications port, you need some assistance, or you want to check on something. Plug it in, let us know. We'll look for it online because it's reaching out to us. This is the main screen of your controller. It of course shows all the telemetry you'll need to know during operations, whether your door is open or closed, which will signify a green with also a door closed in the box. When the door is closed, you'll see your valves. They will change colors during operation. It will tell you the current temperature, the current pressure, how long the sterilizing cycle should be, and how long it will take for it to end that cycle. Also has a nice chart which tells you what the current status is inside the chamber. Now from there, you can add other options such as pulses, number of pulses for the test, and what temperature you want the pulse to rise up to and then drop down to as well. The last thing you need to know on this is the reprint button. Should your printer, which we'll get into next, should your printer run out of tape in the middle of a cycle, you can just install a new roll of tape into the printer, hit the print last run, and it will print your run for you. Now here we have the printer for our controller, which is a very good printer, we think. It uses thermal paper. It is very simple to load, unload. Merely pull out the front, put in the new tape, wind it through, put it on the spool, and wind it back in and close it. You are ready to run. You can advance it manually, and it will show all your telemetry. You have choices on this printer how often you want to print. You can print every 30 seconds, every minute, every 2 minutes. It has a range so that you can decide whether you want more telemetry or less. This will also tell you when your cycle is complete, what your average temperatures were, the time, and the date. This is our set point screen. And once you advance from the main screen to the set point screen, you have a choice of all your different variables. If you decide you want higher than 275, you can change it simply by pushing the screen and putting in a new temperature. You have many choices, your time, your drain limit time, even the hydraulic pump. In areas where the weather is warmer and you don't want to overheat the oil, you can adjust the time which your pump will stay running. Your audio alarm, here is where I was describing with the printer, the sample rate. It can be adjusted here. You can also go through, and we normally recommend that with these changes on this column, this is for your system's set points and so on, you'll normally want to call us before making any changes to these items, especially these where you have your different modes. And let me explain the different modes for a moment. You can change from this screen to a dual mode standard, a dual mode auto, or a dual mode full condensing. And what dual mode full condensing would mean is you can actually set different times for it to change between the two modes, and I'll get into that on another screen. You can also install on these, rather than the flash card like our old units, we now have a new smaller flash card, easier to use. Most computers have the compatible port for it, or you could use a USB port to download the runs from this sterilizer. It is located directly behind the screen, easy to find. Plug it in, just have to push your button for the USB files. It'll throw up a window, very simple to follow. You copy your telemetry down onto the stick. Once it's done, you can remove it, and then you can continue with the next run. Very simple, not a lot of downtime, couple seconds to download it, maybe 30 seconds to do the whole process, and then you will be back up and running again. Unlike the old units where you had to shut off the controller, put in the stick, pull it out, download it, reinstall it, and then start the controller. Much more simple, much more efficient. This is our factory setting screens. As you can see, there's a lot of choices on here. The first and biggest one is some customers need to have this in Celsius. Push a button, you're there. No going in and reprogramming. Same thing with your temperature limits. These are pretty much set standard. We have calibration for the thermometer or the thermocouple, but that's set by us at the factory. Now, we do have to occasionally calibrate the pressure depending on the location of the job site. When you get into higher elevations, this will make a difference, but when your startup is done by the Marcastello technician, he will show you how to do this and do it for you. The clocks and the dates, easy to set, same as the other settings. Push on it, comes up as a calculator screen. Again, in the right-hand column, you have a lot of different settings. These are for different times. Your Marcastello technician will dial these in for you on site per what your facilities will dictate you can use to make your system most efficient. He will record these settings so that when you do have questions, he can guide you through what changes you may want to make. But as you can see, this is very simple for the average user to operate. Simple phone call, a little bit of dialogue exchange, and then the system can be corrected and the customer can move on without any downtime. That's the whole idea here. We're trying to keep our customers up and running. Now, this is our system configuration screen. This is where we can really help our customers out. As you can see in this column, we have a choice of different types of settings. This vessel can be used as a gravity controller, or you can have it solely as a vacuum standard system, or a full condensing system, or a dual mode, which if you refer back to one of the other screens where I was showing the different factory settings where you can decide which mode you want to go on, this is where it all starts out. And the real interesting thing that we think that we've done for our customers is, if you have a vacuum system, which this is, and let's say you have paraffin wax that gets into your vacuum pump and it shuts you down, what are you going to do? Very simple. You call us, we'll instruct you to go to this page, switch it to gravity. You can now run without the vacuum pump while the pump is being disassembled and cleaned out to be reinstalled and reoperated. All the customer is going to have to do is put in a test pack with the new temperature and set point and verify that it is getting killed, and they can continue to operate while their pump is being cleaned out. This is a very good option. It also helps very well with customers that we have some processors that do both aphis waste, which is international waste where they're trying to kill the bugs, rather than bacteria with the medical waste. With the bacteria in the medical waste, you're going to want to use the vacuum system. That's what they're designed for, that's what they use. With the aphis system, you don't always have to use the vacuum. A lot of customers want to change to gravity just for the aphis. It uses less resources, less cost for them. So they will merely change to the gravity system, run their aphis waste, and then go back to their dual mode system at the end. Now, this is what we call an all-in-one. The center column, this dictates what we're going to do with this when we build it for you. We're going to put on this controller. Are you going to have a single door, or are you going to have a double door? For us programming, all the hardware is already inside to do it either way. We have a choice of different sensors depending on what system you're going to use. It's all programmed in there, easy. If you have a 100 psi or a 75 psi vessel, it's merely another method to keep the customer operating. Now, we also have a flight information. We have used these in flight kitchens a lot with aphis because they like to keep track of what airlines waste is being processed in that load. Once you enable this option on your screen, it will give you a window that will ask for the flight numbers. Again, just like a calculator screen, except for with the alphabet. It will give you the chance to put in, say, an airline's flight number and then the initials for the airline, as many up to 10 as you need for that load. Then it will allow you to process. Once this option is engaged, unless you put a number in, you're not going to be able to move forward and start the process until the number's in. Very good process for some hospitals that want to record them by load numbers and waste processors who have everything tagged. It can be used. Also, we have a communications for the scale. Some customers like to have a scale upon entering, and sometimes even built underneath the cart lift that raises up to the vessel. This will allow them to put a scale underneath the cart lift, bring the waste up, use the scales controls to count the waste, and then add up all the figures from all the carts, and then send it to the controller. And this will be logged in both the internal memory, which can be downloaded onto either a thumb drive or a flash card, and it will also print on your strips. Very good option for some customers. Now, for those of you that are going to want to use the SD card for the flash drive, very simple. Comes with the controller. You don't have to go out and find one, or you can take one of your standard USB drives and plug it in to download your information. Very simple, easy for the customer to do. This is something you would want to do maybe once a week, because it's easier to sort out the data. If you go a month or 2 months or buy bigger cards, you will find out that it's a lot of data to go through and separate, but you'll still have it as a backup either way. So now you've seen some of the features that we have on our new controller, and we think that these will be very user-friendly. It'll be easy for the average user to easily master and operate our systems. Less phone calls, less trips out by a technician to diagnose your systems with communications, and so on. We thank you very much for your time.